Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about Necropolis, or more specifically about what we know about the main node of Necropolis, because all of these abreast type contents has their die now mechanics. Effectively in Labyrinth we had that double enrage timers, which you could extend based on however high you could get your base starting attack. And then we had Abyss of Legends, which was already tied to challenger rating, where based on your challenger rating, you effectively had a specific amount of hits allocated. And now we have this Ankh of Necropolis, which is also tied to challenger rating, but also strikers. And therefore, there will be several important takeaways that I will try my best to demonstrate in today's video. So the defender starts with a number of vengeance charges equal to the attacker's challenger rating. The defender loses a vengeance charge each second. The timer is paused during either champion's special attacks or while a striker is attacking. Each time a striker is activated by attacker, the defender gains 6 vengeance charges. The defender's ability accuracy cannot be decreased below 50% unless you have class advantage. And then, when the defender has half of their starting vengeance charges or less, they gain 200% attack rating. Their ability accuracy cannot be decreased unless the attacker has class advantage, and the attacker is passively rooted during defender's special attacks, so the fight gets harder, basically. And here, it's also going to be important with the final phase. While the defender has 0 vengeance charges, they are stun immune and immune to all forms of power manipulation, passively unblockable, and they gain 15% of bar power every second while the attacker is not within striking distance. So this is going to be also quite important, because with quite a few characters, I believe, you will be able to extend your fight duration even after your opponents, run out of vengeance charges. And that will likely be possible if you will have some sort of aggression mechanic in your champion, like, the Furies with She-Hulk, like Taunt, like Infuriate, or something of the sorts, or if you in general just have a very aggressive playstyle. However, this node as a whole significantly differs from both Labyrinth and Abyss. It's more similar to the Labyrinth one, but it's completely different with Abyss. And the first thing that we need to get out of the way is the fact that parry-heavy champions will be quite bad. And a lot of champions in general, because we're going to see that, unlike in Abyss, hit count will not matter. But if you're going to be, I should have activated the pre-fight. But if you're going to be using a champion that largely relies on parrying and heavying and stuff like that, you can see that at this point, he has already activated like his level 1, and I'm only, halfway built my striker. And now I'm at my level 2, fine, so I'm going to throw my level 2. As we can see, during the level 2, these timers will be paused, and your striker also gets filled when you throw the level 2. And still, though, I have thrown my level 2, and only now I get to activate the striker, and only now I get to have those extra 6 seconds. And then, again, I need to start building up the striker. Amount of hits don't matter. And this is not going to be like great go around with that mechanic. Now we're going to see in contrast, keep in mind that during all the special attacks, mine and his, the timer is going to be charged. We're not going to be losing any charges. But we're going to see that having like a super aggressive play, I'm already halfway filled the charge. Now we're paused. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to go for a heavy attack. I'm going to throw my level 1 because absolutely no reason why not. We're still pausing the charges. And now at this point, I can easily go for striker. And we can see that I have already activated striker, basically. And all this time, I'm, pausing the vengeance charges in Abyss. And during level 3, it's paused as well. And here I kind of messed up the Doom rotation. But the point is, my striker is already nearly full. So I can activate my striker again easily. It all continuously gets paused. There's another important thing that I will showcase in a moment in this video. But the point being is any champion that will be able to either spam special attacks or force a very fast and aggressive playstyle will be doing better, will be able to have a long fight time. And that is, again, largely due to the way these mechanics work. In Abyss, it was completely different. For instance, if you were to bring in, let's say, Carnage hit count goes brr. You can do double to triple amount of hits with Carnage than you would with most of the champions. And it absolutely sucked for Abyss because it was measured per hits. Now, only thing important is actual fight duration, not the amount of hits. So the more aggressive you can be, presumably you can get in more damage, but not only that, the more quickly you can get opponents' special attacks out, all that time, the timer gets paused, the more you activate your own special attacks, the faster you will also be building up your striker counter, which is like a key aspect in here. So having aggressive playstyle with somebody, like She-Hulk, like whoever you can play massively aggressively, is going to be tremendously helpful to significantly increase the duration of the fight and therefore the damage that you can do in the fight. Another key aspect here that I'm going to show is specifically the striker quality themselves. Abyss is going to be a prime example of why it is important to perhaps bring in worse striker than you have than it would be to bring in like a perfectly kind of like themed striker. For instance, now I'm going to go in with a Storm. And we can see my Storm had a 3-star relic, 3-star striker on it. So I'm gonna throw one full combo. So let's see how many full combos I need to throw in order to fill up my striker. We're only gonna look at that. So I'm doing medium, light, medium combos. So the standard combo, I have thrown 4 full combos. I'm going in on 5 now. And I'm going to go in on another one. So this is 6 combos. 7 combos. So it's 7 combos, 36 hits. I filled up my striker. Quite a lot of time. And now let's see, because on my Massacre, I have a 6-star Winter Soldier relic. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to take a look. So before we had 36 hits. Now we're going to see how many hits it takes to fill up a 6-star relic. So we are 15 hits in, and we are already halfway through. We are 20 hits in. We are 26 hits, and my relic was filled. So that's significantly faster. That means it's about 33% faster, something like that. So that would mean that you would get to activate relic 50% more times, which means 50% more times you would end up giving yourself extra 6 seconds in the fight. And then the last bit is not to mention, again, pay attention to what happens when I'm activating, what happens with my striker meter whenever I'm going to be activating my special attacks. So I'm going for my special, and we can see that we are increasing that meter throughout the entire special attack. And now, again, I'm just going to go for level 1, and my meter gets filled. And now at some point, I'm going to use Relic just because I'm going to go for Striker immediately. And that level 2, keeps filling that Relic up by a noticeable degree, right? And again, that is going to be super important in Abyss to increase your duration, because not only whilst you are activating a special attack, you are pausing the timer. Thus, it isn't taking away from the actual fight duration, or in fact, it's helping you extend it. But also, whilst you're activating special attacks, you are filling up your striker meter, the spirit meter, whatever it's called. So that immediately kind of tells us that, champions like Magneto and whatnot will not necessarily do too well, because they might have very high damage per hit, but they play kind of slowly. There's very few hits on their heavy attacks. It is a relatively slow playstyle. He has nothing to increase the aggression of those fights. He has no power control for the first 2 halves of the fight. Just so you could remain more aggressive. There's no taunt, there's no infuriate, none of that stuff. Make opponents' AI more aggressive. And additionally, yeah, he's going to be filling up his own spirit counter very slowly. Thus, he's going to be activating less strikers. Thus, he's going to be unable to increase the fight duration. So that is definitely something that I am also going to be keeping in mind. For instance, choosing my Mystic attackers. So Dr. Doom is probably a prime example of a champion that I am quite confident will do extremely well, partially due to this mechanic. Obviously, it's still dependent on what matchups and what fights are going to be there. But just purely theoretically looking at this anchor of the Necropolis now, Dr. Doom is going to be pretty much perfect because you can be like mega aggressive with him. You can activate a ton of special attacks. You can squeeze in a ton of striker combos because you can consistently, throw your level 3, power drain the opponent, so you don't need to worry about if the striker is pushing opponent into level 3 and things like that. And all of that stuff seems to just be working together quite perfectly. So again, mechanics, like taunt, like infuriate, like some solid power control that still enables you to be more aggressive. All that stuff is going to be super, super helpful in Necropolis because it doesn't matter at the end of the day how many times you hit the opponent. The timer doesn't suffer for it. In fact, it helps you because the faster you can play, the more frequently you can strike the opponent. More frequently, you will be able to fill your spirit meter. More frequently, you will be able to access your special attacks, which also will cause this thing to get paused. And the last bit, yeah, when you go into the Necropolis, make sure that whichever champions you are using is basically the highest rank relics that you have, because they do fill up their spirit meter significantly faster. It's kind of like, we had combat power rate, quite a relevant factor for champions based on their rank. And now we have the spirit power rate based on relic rarity. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information